final remarks of the evening, I'd like to introduce my colleague, my supervisor, my friend, Director of Development, Mr. John Scheinman.
Thank you, Rodney. The hardest part about going last is everybody's like, get over quickly, I want to go home to my family, I want to go to the bar, see friends. It's not true tonight, thanks to Alex Ray. We thanked Alex all night. We don't have the bar, we have delicious Common Man ice cream station downstairs for when we leave. So Alex, thank you for making that possible and this evening possible. We've honored 3 great New Hampshire citizens, but the real beneficiaries tonight are Plymouth State students. We have a host of them here this evening. Tonight's event has raised over $30,000 for student scholarships, so give yourselves a round of applause. It is awesome getting together, and the hard part about going last, everybody said everything that I was going to say. So we're going to deal with some housekeeping things and then honor a few people and a few other tributes. So we talked about the Common Man ice cream station. I'd be remiss if I didn't say when we leave, downstairs to your left of the doors, there is a fantastic Raymond Burton photo stand, and please, I encourage you to get your photo taken with that and memento from the evening. And the last housekeeping thing is, as you're leaving, please grab a gift bag from a state gift. All of this possible. Rodney just spoke, I just spoke, they did all the work. So let's have a round of applause for Rodney. This dinner, as we know, has been postponed twice. And when Rodney and I were chatting back in February to give it a go, we thought, what does success look like? We said, maybe 40 people. I go, we'll get our staff to go, we'll make spouses mandatory. We thought, hopefully we'll raise a few $1,000s for scholarships. Well, I've already told you we've raised over $30,000. We have 130 people cramped in the barn, so that's a credit to everybody, and it's just awesome being back out in public. I don't know, for many of us, it's our first event, haven't seen friends in 15 months. I did remember my business cards and extra pens to chat. Hopefully everybody else did the same. I wanted you to know, Amanda, you're only the 23rd recipient of the Robert Frost Award. That's the 51 years Plymouth State has bestowed that. It's one of our most prestigious awards, and nobody's better than you, more deserving than you. So another round of applause for Amanda. Lou and Bill, congratulations on the award and the model of giving back and civic duty. I want to be Lou D'Alessandro, and like he, I started my career as a basketball coach, fairly successful, humble brag, as was Lou. But I got a long way to go to catch up to all the things you've done, Lou, and for the state of New Hampshire, so thank you for your service. Lastly, I do have a couple of challenges for Lou. The beneficiaries we talked about are Plymouth State students. Many of them are here tonight. And to the students, I always tell them, many of the students were coming very nervous to be here. And I always tell them, what you do is, Jenna, what do I always say to everybody? Pay it forward. So when you're in a position to buy a ticket or donate to a scholarship or a cause, do that. We talked about Ray and his networking. One of our students here, that's a Ray Jones recipient, is Manny D'Alessandro, Manny D'Alessandro, who's in the back. Manny, can you stand up, please? Ray's able to receive. So Manny is a biology major going to senior year at Plymouth State. This summer he's an EMT, and Manny wants to go to medical school. So I sit down with Manny this evening, and he goes, Coach, anybody here that's a doctor? So right away we go and introduce Manny to Susie and Phil Bolter. Phil Bolter whispers in my ear, I'm on this board, I'm on that board, we're going to take care of Manny. Then I go see John and Kathy Bentley. He goes, when Manny comes back in the fall, we got to connect, we're going to take good care of him. And that's what Ray was about, that's what public service is about, that's what Plymouth State is about. And the last thing I want to do, and Senator Lou, this is a challenge or a prize to your challenge. on public service. Our students, about 10 of them here this evening, they're the future, and they are going to make a difference. I know many of them personally, and the future is bright because of the students, because of your support of the students. So, thank you. So, last thing, Rodney, may I have you and Dwayne come back to the podium, please? So, as we've chatted about, this is Dwayne's last event. He left big shoes for Plymouth State University to fill for Raymond Burton Legacy Society. And Dwayne, as a small token for your dedication to Plymouth State students and keeping Raymond's legacy alive, we'd like to present you with this award, a small token of our appreciation. I wrote it down. The most upset thing about this evening, Alex Ray, Governor Lynch, Lou, they're all younger than me. They have small fonts. I have big fonts. So I will give it. To quote Jackie Robinson, a life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives. Dwayne, you and Ray have had a huge impact on other lives. Thank you for your service to Plymouth State and the North Country and Ray's legacy. Governor Lynch, unlike you, Mike Ryan just called you and you spoke what he said. He didn't trust me to speak. So Michael asked if he could come to the floor and has a presentation for you, Dwayne, as well. So, Executive Council Primes, I give you the mic.
Good evening, everyone. What was it, 8 years ago, we're up at a beautiful home on the hill, owned by Rita and Dwayne. And Dwayne said, as we were co-executors on the estate, we've got to do something to keep Ray's memory alive. And Dwayne came back and said, maybe we should try a dinner and see if we could raise a few $1,000. So we started out with this modest sum that we wanted to raise. And one of the people here that blew it out of the water for us was Bruce Berkey, who came to us immediately and said, the Ski Association wants to give some huge amount of money. I think it was like $25,000. So we were like that, well, let's cross that one off, and we upped it, we kept on going, and that was the start. But I can tell you in all sincerity, what we are doing tonight, from 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, skip 20, now 21, would not be done, and no slight on Plymouth State or anyone else, would not be done if it hadn't been for Dwayne in his efforts to keep his good friend and his lifelong friend, his memory going. And you couldn't think of a better thing to do than to honor the students. We were very fortunate at our table to have one of the students, Julianne, sitting at our table. And I also brought along my son, who's that age, and it's kind of nice to interact with the kids and to see what their perspective is. And so many of them that you talked to tonight, they've never met Ray Burton. They had no idea who Ray was. I'll give you one little statistic. It's actually a series of numbers. 11, 12, 13. That was the day Ray passed away. November 12, 2013. So if somebody said, how many years ago did he pass away? We'll know this year in November it was 8 years. In some ways it seems like yesterday, and in other ways it seems like a lifetime ago. I had the good fortune of serving with Ray for 16 years as a county commissioner, and then had the extreme honor to make it to the executive council for one term. What Ray did was just beyond words. I mean, I've seen Ray do things where he would literally excuse himself for a moment, go out, make a phone call, and change someone's life immediately. Ray had that kind of power. But I'll remind everyone that's thinking about running for public office, you hear all these wonderful things Ray has done. Ray told me one day, he says, you know, a lot of times people marvel at what I can do. I didn't start out that way. And I think you would admit it. When you're first elected, you don't start out with that same magic that he had. So 35 years on the executive council. He deserves to second a motion once in a while. So tonight, a few of his friends, we chipped in and bought a little remembrance with Dwayne, because we want to honor Dwayne. We know he's stepping down. Dr. Burks and your team, Leslie, who I dealt with a lot, you've got a lot of hard work ahead of you, and standard, because when we come back here, this room better be filled next time. So you've got a challenge ahead. So Dwayne, if you come up, let me present this. And it very simply says, presented to Dwayne Baxter for your dedication to Ray Burton's memory. Thanks, your friends, which all of you are. June 3rd, 2020.
Thank you very, very much. It's been a privilege and an honor to be part of this. And end results speak for themselves, with the students being able to continue their education. And that's really what it was all about, in the sense that Ray would have agreed with. So thank you very much. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you.
So to the Plymouth Development staff on Mike's challenge, we have a meeting at 7:45 in the morning to plan next year's ceremony. Kidding, please sleep in, you did a great job tonight. So that concludes our ceremony, and thank you for coming. The recipients and the beneficiaries of Plymouth State students, many of you got to see them and meet them this evening. They're worthy of your support. Education is the key, our students are the key. Please come back, mark the date for next year. We'll figure out tomorrow at 7:45 when that is, and thank you very much. Have a great night.